This photo is on the same trip as that country roads picture from a couple of weeks ago. And there's a lot of significance with this image. And it has to do with when I was a kid, my family would go up to Minnesota once, maybe twice a year if we were lucky, and see all the cousins and aunts and uncles and all our relatives and even some old friends. And there was this little town just across the border between Iowa and Minnesota, and the town was Bigelow. And for some reason, I've always remembered that town name. I haven't been through that town in a long time, probably at least 15 years, but I've always remembered that little town name. And so when I kind of happened to be driving along this highway coming back from my grandfather's funeral, and I saw, I didn't even make this connection, but I was driving along this highway. I think it was Highway 60. I saw one of those yellow road or green road signs that says a town and then how many miles ahead. And it was Bigelow. And I thought, oh man, that's Bigelow. I know where I am now. That's almost on the border. And I thought about maybe I'll take a picture at the edge where the things, where it crosses from Iowa to Minnesota. And I'm driving along and I thought, well, that's kind of silly. What do I care about that? And I saw this big old sign and I stopped the car and I thought, nope, I'm taking a picture because that's just kind of a cool scene. And it made me remember of those times when I was a kid and crossing the border would be this really cool milestone on our trips because we were finally in Minnesota once again. And that's where I was born and I have a lot of memories there. And it was fun to mark that with the town of Bigelow being like 2 minutes past the border. And, you know, they didn't have this big old sign back then, but they did have a sign that said Welcome Minnesota. And so it was always fun to cross the border and see that sign, Welcome Minnesota. Yay, we're in our home state, and then go through Bigelow. And I hope I was able to capture just a little bit of, I don't know, the grandeur, I guess, or the significance of the scene that I kind of felt as I was passing the border. I had to, so shooting this was tricky, as you might imagine, because I'm kind of staring directly at the sun here. And that means I had to figure out some exposure settings quickly on the fly here. I shot at f8. I underexposed so the sky wouldn't be totally blown out, thinking I could recover some highlights in post. The original is just all black in the foreground. You can't see a thing. It's just a silhouette of a sign and a silhouette of some grass and weeds. And I was able to recover plenty of highlight detail and plenty of shadow detail. But this is one of those photos that I could probably spend 2 hours editing, and I at some point I just had to stop. If you look at the sky, it's all splotchy. There's a blue glow around the sign from when I was using the adjustment brush, and I think I forgot to auto mask. And there's a part right directly above the sign where it's a little more clear and blue, and the rest of the sky looks kind of hazy. And it's just poor editing on my part. But I'm not selling this photo. I'm not going to print it on 8x10 or whatever. I just wanted a nice photo, and I've got the raw if I want to keep editing it, but it was fun to take it and it was fun to remember. And I don't need a perfectly pixel perfect edited image to remember what it was about this scene that I like so much. It tells a story. It brings a memory back to me, and that's fine. I don't really mind that it's not perfectly edited, and I hope you don't either. And if you do, too bad. Actually, if you do, if you're curious what the original looks like, just let me know or leave a comment or something, and I'd be happy to give you the raw if you want to play around with it yourself. So anyway, Bigelow, Minnesota. Yay, Bigelow. And yeah, it was fun to do this.